I promise I will tie this back to current events, but right now I want to talk about fiduciary duty. Fiduciary duty is the legal responsibility to act solely in the best interests of another party. We see this often with lawyers who have a fiduciary duty to their client to act in their client's best interest. Even if their client did some really bad things, they have a fiduciary duty to their client to act in their client's best interests, not in, their own, when they may think that this person doesn't deserve to have any leniency. As an example, the type of fiduciary duty I'm most familiar with as a CPA is the fiduciary duty that financial professionals have to put the best interests of the corporation and its profits ahead of their own. A director of a corporation is a fiduciary of that corporation, and it owes the company the duties of disclosure, honesty, loyalty, candor, and the duty to favor the company's interests over his or her own. This duty is not just to the corporation, but the stockholders or shareholders, the people who hold shares of the corporation. So what are the interests of these shareholders? Shareholders have very few interests, actually. The most important interest is to ensure that they get a return on their investment. They want dividends, and those are paid for out of profits of the corporation. You know me at all. You know I'm not a fan of this whole arrangement, but this is the reality of the system as it exists. The corporations pay shareholders the excess profits and by declaring dividends. So the fiduciaries of the corporation have a duty to those shareholders to not only make sure profits are good and get them paid out, but also to ensure that the actions of them are acting in the best interest of the corporation to continue the corporation's prosperity and future growth. Can you see where I'm going with this yet? A corporate officer or director can be found to be in breach of their fiduciary duty if any of these examples are true. The first one is the one that I'm going to hone in on here. So a conflict of interest would be them putting their own interests or their own politics perhaps ahead of the best interest of the corporation and the profits for those shareholders. So let's say I was a shareholder of a large, say, coffee company that was a very successful company, and I was receiving regular dividends because the company was profitable. And then say the company started making political decisions and tying itself to political ideologies that the vast majority of people, the consumers that cause the profits of the corporation are against, causing those people to not buy your product, therefore not have as many profits for the corporation, therefore not have as many dividends to pay out to its shareholders. I'd be pretty annoyed, right? Because those directors have a fiduciary duty to, above all else, make sure the company is successful and give me my payout. That is what they care about. With this information I've given you, do you think that there has been massive breaches of fiduciary duties by officers and directors of corporations who are putting political interests ahead of the interests of the longevity and profitability of their companies? Because I do. What do you think?